Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and this is going to be a little video on just how I approach trying to fix a computer that's just giving me fits. There's a lot of easy fixes out there, a lot of quicker stuff, but this is one that took me a couple days. This is the G14 from Asus ROG, right? It was built in March of 2020, so it's got a 4900 HS. It's got the RTX 2060 in it, so it's a pretty powerful laptop. My friend uses this for they were using it for their work, what they do for their work. So they thought it was overheating. I took a look, I cleaned that up, and I just felt like with what it was doing, it should have just been downclocking enough and just been still okay. After cleaning up all the dust, it was still having issues. So I went through the normal stuff, went and checked out the NVMe SSD. This had a Intel 660p in it, right? So that was pretty convenient there to just look at, hey, let's go through, let's make sure that the BIOS are up to date, or the firmware on it is up to date. Did that, made sure the BIOS of the machine are up to date as well. Looked at the memory. Now this has 8 gigs of memory soldered in, so I took all the memory out, see if that helped. I thought it did until I started to really trying to diagnose this, and making sure that it was going to be stable enough for them, right? It could not stay up, and it would not stay on for longer than 2 hours, and that was going to be an issue. So this is where I start. I had some extra drives here and some extra memory. I first swapped out the drive. I thought it was working better, except I could never get over that 2 hours. Then I swapped out the memory. I also couldn't do that. So going through back and forth and just trying different configurations, old, new stuff, all that other stuff, right? Just trying to see if I was losing my mind, which there's a text message between another friend of mine. He likes fixing computers, and he could basically say I was probably losing my mind at some points on this, because I really wanted to fix this. I really wanted this to get to work for him because, one, I recommended this laptop, right? At the time, it's some of the best performance laptops for what they're going to do. And you don't like to see a product like this just die out like this. And I'll let you make your own conclusions on what might have happened. I don't have any insight exactly to exactly what it is. I could have ripped out the board and really tried to, looked over it, made sure that everything looked okay electronically, except I don't really have a good, board repair station at this place. So at my place here, I'd love to be able to have one. I just don't. So um, what this was able to go through then was, you know, the back comes off pretty easy, right? You look at the back, you got your screws and everything right there, and this just pops off. You have access to that one stick of memory, and then also your uh, also the NVMe drive. Actually, it has really good access. I took off the whole entire cooler as well. I cleaned all that up, repasted it, and it needed it. The paste was really kind of chalky. Now this is going to be a 3-year-old machine, and it just, this is after it ran too, and so I put on some better thermal paste, repasted it all, got it back down. Temps are actually now idling down into the low 30s, high 20s Celsius, which I'm really impressed with. So after going back on all that, I swapped in my drive that I had, and tried to install Windows over and over again. It was having issues and still freezing. So they were okay with me wiping this drive just to try to get some things through. I went Windows 10, dropped down to Windows 11, and still having issues. Or I was at Windows 11, I dropped onto Windows 10, still having issues. I went all the way and I downloaded Linux. Linux was freezing after, up to an hour. You couldn't even update. It was having issues, and we were having issues installing and having issues, installing the OSs and trying to run once you got it installed, and it was just driving me insane. And I'm talking back and forth with my friend, and he goes, "At this point, I just scrap it for parts," which wasn't a bad idea, because it was starting to get really annoying. But I'm like, it runs sometimes. Why is it sometimes running just fine? And besides it freezing and everything else, I think that this is just a power issue, right? Why is this not doing it? Boosting issue, something like that. And I ran across something online here. He ran across a couple videos, and I will link those in the description below as well, just so you have them. And you can take a look at it. But there's a additional power option inside of Windows if you can enable it through the registry key. And I'll post that registry key here. And as you can see, I will make sure here. Yes, I just went through user. If you saw my last video on how to set up Windows 11, I just did, with everything. But you can see here, it has now been up for 3 days. And you can see the CPU is a 4900HS. It's actually a really nice laptop, and you're just like, what? How did you get this to be stable when you couldn't even get it to do anything else? So going through, and this is one of the things that my friend found that, and I'll post these videos so you can do it, but in the registry edit, you enable a registry key that then enables these power options here. And let's see if I can get to edit power planning, because the registry didn't save where it was. So you change, this is where I realized that I don't have the setup I want. I need another card here to have a better recording setup so that you can see it here. But the videos I post below will help you as well. That'll exactly how to show you how to get this enabled in the registry. But there's a process management power, and if you can see that, hopefully you can see that there's a processor performance boost mode. I disabled this. It was enabled to, on both sides, it was enabled to aggressive. And now you have multiple options. So if you can see that, if it wants to focus, you have all those options. So it was enabled on, it was on aggressive. So that was causing it to boost way high and not have what it needs, in my opinion, and causing these freezes, blue screens of death, and everything else. I disabled it, so now you don't get that boost, which is unfortunate, right? That extra performance. However, I have stability. I have a working laptop. And that's the biggest thing when you're trying to go down here. I have to thank my friend for finding this video, because he was listening to me go off on all these other tangents. I tried drivers. I tried all that stuff when I had it running. It wasn't any of that with drivers. It wasn't, being on a specific driver or anything else. It was this boosting mechanism that was happening that was causing all these issues. And so if you have something like this and you're trying to get down the problem, you're going through everything with drivers and everything else, I think that, to me, like he said, just scrap it, right? Maybe that was maybe the right choice, but just sell it for parts. But I thought I could get it back, and with his research, with him helping me out, because he got a lot of texts of everything I was trying. I mean, I did memory checks, I did, you saw the Linux stuff I did, tried a multitude of different drivers from ASUS's site, from the latest, from Windows Update, all that stuff, and it came down to this. So, sometimes you got to think outside the box. Sometimes, even bouncing stuff off a friend or anything else gives you a good idea to go off of, can be extremely helpful in scenarios where you're trying to go through and figure out what is going on with this product. I know this product should probably work. Why not, right? To me, I'd rather not have to go sell this off for parts or anything else. I'd rather it being used until it actually dies, because you never know, it could just end up in the landfill with it seemed like it was working, and now we see it is working, right? We're up to 3 days plus on this, but you have good temperatures on it. You have let's see, right now I'm using it a little bit. It's got 29 on the CPU and then 30 C on the GPU, with it all repasted, really brought the temperatures down. And granted, this boot no longer being aggressive, it's not trying to go up into those temperatures or into that in power usage all the time either. So what's interesting is that you have your options are enabled, aggressive, enabled, or efficient, enabled, efficient, aggressive, aggressive at guaranteed, and efficient, aggressive at guaranteed. I'm guessing at guaranteed means like at 99 percentile or something like that. But these are all different things that you can switch to, and people play around with them to performance, especially if you have a gaming laptop. Something I look into, but this was just something I wanted to go on, tech support, I'll probably do another one of these with something else, but tech support approach to trying to figure out something that is just a pain to figure out. And yeah, and it was this H key local machine enabling this little item in that power plan, in that power option. And these videos, I'll post them in the description below, that my friend found that really actually just helped out and saved the day. So I really do appreciate that a lot, and being able to do that. So now you have a laptop that is, it's just sitting there working, right? And that's what you want. You want something that is, that can work, that maybe doesn't have the boost anymore. I'll let you make your own conclusions. Um, I have mine. So I think that it's going to be that they'll be able to use it now. They'll be able to get up and running. And this is some of the things that I like to see with getting old hardware up and running. It's a shame with Microsoft kind of, sunsetting Windows 10, that, all this old hardware is just going to be junked when it still works. Microsoft says they're green, but draw your own conclusions. Uh, this this is just something working. So let me know if you're having problems with the computer or anything else. I always feel to reach out. I love these complex problems. I love trying to figure them out. Being able to do a little search online, and somebody probably already has this. Somebody might have another solution, maybe another option out there, friend or whatever, saying this is how maybe might help, might not, but in this case it did. So I do appreciate everything there. So I'm glad that my other friend can then start to use this again, start to work on it, and be useful to them rather than a paperweight that because it was overheating or shutting down randomly. Which, who wants to spend all this money on a laptop and then use it as a paperweight? I don't. I like to get use out of it. I like to get work or gaming or whatever else out of it, what it's actually meant to be, except for the paperweight. So with that, I really do appreciate my friend's help and everything, and being able to use this laptop as an example for a video too. And I do appreciate everyone here at Gray Overload helping to support the channel. I really do. Share the videos, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that stuff. It really does help out the channel. I really do appreciate it. Sorry about, I will get to the comments here. I'm a little behind in the comments and everything else. Everything's good, but there was a little situation here between with my wife and the baby that we were expecting that's now here. So that is all good. So I was in the hospital instead of trying to get to all the stuff here. So hopefully now I'll be able to, well, the goal is to get a lot of videos out to you guys. So with that, I do appreciate it. And thanks for everything. And until next time, God bless.